everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well and learning new things every day.
So today we are going to solve a very easy SQL problem. It is hosted on leetcode.com and it is of an easy category. So let's get started. So here we have a table called the customer table, in which we have three columns: the ID, name, and referee ID. What this represents is we have 6 customers by the name of Will, Jade, Alex, Bill, Zach, and Mark. They have their respective IDs from 1 to 6, and we have a referee ID column as well. What this means is there's a person who referred them. So if you see a null, that means nobody referred them. And if you see a number against it, that means somebody referred to them. So Will here was not referred by anyone. That's why the referee ID is null. Jane again was not referred by anyone. So the referee ID again is null. Alex here was referred by ID number 2. So we can map it from this table itself as to who referred Alex. So as you can see, Alex's referee ID was 2. So who has the ID 2 in this table? Jane. So Jane has referred Alex here. Do you understand the mapping now? Moving ahead, Bill was not referred by anyone. That's why his referee ID is null. Zach here was referred by ID number 1. So can you guess who referred Zach? Well, we can look at the ID column. So Will had the ID number 1. So Will referred who? Will referred Zach here. Now, Mark was referred by ID number 2. And as we have already looked, who has the ID number 2 here? Jane. So Jane has referred 2 people, Alex and Mark. They both have referee ID number 2. So I hope you understood what this table represents to us. Now, what is it that we are trying to do from this? We have to find out the name of those customers who are not referred by ID number 2. As you can look at the problem statement here, we have to find out the name of all those customers who are not referred by the customer with ID number 2. So let's look at our table again. So Will was referred by no one. So Will can go in the output because we need to find out the name of all those customers who are not referred by ID number 2. So Will here was not referred by ID number 2, correct? So we can go ahead with Will, right? Let's look at Jane. Jane was referred by no one. So that means Jane was not referred by ID number 2. Let's look at the third customer, Alex. So Alex was referred by who? Alex was referred by ID number 2, which is what we were asked in the output, not to report the name of all those customers who are referred by ID number 2. So Alex cannot go in the output. Simple as that. We can mark. So Alex can be marked with a red here because Alex will be excluded from our output. Let's look at Bill. So Bill was referred by no one. So he can go in the output, right? Moving on, Zach was referred by ID number 1. Can he go in the output? I think yes, he can. What about Mark? Will Mark go in the output? Mark has the referee ID number 2. So Mark's name will not go in the output because he was referred by ID number 2. What are we asked by the question? Not to report the name of those customers who are referred by ID number 2. We need to color Mark's name with red or green. With red because he cannot be produced in the output. And so looking at this table, which all names will go in the output? It's very simple. Will, Jane, Bill, and Zach, right? So as per my understanding of this question, these are the 4 names that will be produced in the output. What do you guys think? Is this the correct output? So this was our desired output. As you can look at the platform here, Will, Jane, Bill, and Zach was produced in the desired output, and which is what we had also arrived based on our understanding of the problem. So this is how we should always approach a problem without writing any code, develop a logical understanding of it, understand your table, understand your data, each column, try to understand the problem, solve it without writing any code. After you have arrived at your desired output, you can get started with the coding of it. This was a very, very small table, so you could arrive at the entire output. But in the real life, in the work scenario, you will have big tables to look at. You will not be able to produce the entire output at once. So that's okay. You can look at the few rows and arrive at an output and then go ahead with that. Okay, so let's get started with writing the code for it. So first of all, we need to get started with the select clause. Let's write that. With the select clause, we need to give the name of the columns. Here we know that we want name of the customers in the output. So we can write that. Then comes the from clause. And the from clause is for giving out the table name. What is the table name that we have? Customer. So we can give the table name. Then comes our where clause. So from your understanding of the question, we have to give the name of those customers who were not referred by ID number 2. So we can simply just say referee ID is not equal to 2, correct? Let's look at that. Let's do that. Oops, we got the wrong answer. So we got only Zach's name in our output, whereas the desired output had to have 4 names. Will, Jane, Bill, and Zach. But we got only Zach's name. Why? That is because the referee ID of the rest of the 3 people, Will, Jane, and Bill, was null. The SQL query did not automatically cast the null rows. If we are writing it this way, we need to include the is null or is not null clause as well, along with this. And so we have already captured Zach's name, but we need to also capture the null rows. And for null rows, what do? We need to write is null or is not null. So along with this, we will give one more condition that it's either this or include the null rows as well. Correct? So for referee ID is null. Let's run this. So our case got accepted because we have captured both the scenarios. We have captured the scenario of Zach and we have also captured the scenario of the null rows. So this is one way you can write your negation clause along with your null clause. I want to show you another way of doing this using a subquery. So in the subquery, what we will do is we will include every ID and just exclude the rows we do not want. So first of all, we will again write the select clause and we wanted the name of the customers in the select, right? So that's what I did. And then the from clause from table and now where. So I will include all the IDs. So where ID. Now I will exclude the IDs I do not want. So I will put a negation clause here, so not in, and put the IDs I do not want in a subquery. So select those IDs from the customer table where the referee ID is equal to 2. So the subquery part will give me the ID of every customer where the referee ID was 2. My subquery will yield me the IDs of Alex and Mark. And I will exclude those from my main query. So let's run this. Even this case got accepted. And so you can write any query in multiple ways, whatever you're comfortable with. The first one was like we included the rows that we wanted. In the second one, I used a subquery and I excluded the rows I did not want by including every other row. It's just about your comfort factor and however you want to approach the problem, however you want to write the code, but just develop a basic understanding of the problem before writing the code. That will always help you. So I hope you learned something about writing the SQL query from this session. I showed you 2 ways. You can write in multiple ways as per your understanding of the problem. So keep exploring it, keep learning more and more. Be a student for your entire life. This always helps. It will always help you to progress in life and go further. Let me know in the comment section what other kind of questions you would like me to attempt, and I'll be more than happy to do that. Till then, keep learning, keep exploring. See you guys in the next session.